How to reprogram and heal faster and easier. Welcome back to another episode of Rapid Subconscious Reprogramming Community. Thank you very much if you're watching. If you're watching #live, guys, please, I would really appreciate that. And if you're watching replay, #replay, let me know if you're there. If you're watching, if you're liking this, the more you engage with this, the more people get to see it. If you're on YouTube watching this video, if you want to subscribe, if you want to engage too, that would be great. And if you want to comment, that will be even greater. It takes a little bit of time and it really has a big impact. So if you want to help more people reach these type of things, it's great if you can do that. So thank you very much if you're here. Let's talk about how to start reprogramming and healing easier and faster. Okay, so one of the things that I keep telling people over and over and over again, and I'm not getting tired of this, is that we need to understand how the mind works. And it's so different to what most people are teaching out there. Seriously, it's so different because most people are teaching how to hack the mind, how to push through, and that is not how the mind works for most people. Okay, for everyone it works the same. The thing is, there's a very few small percentage of people out there, few or small percentage out there, that they have been able to kick themselves in the butt, push harder, or hack the mind, quote unquote, as they call it, to be able to move forward in their life. But that doesn't mean that that is the right way to go. And this is very important to understand. Okay, so if you're wanting to really start healing, start reprogramming the subconscious mind, let's talk about how the mind works. And I'll give you some examples for you to understand and to really make a hard point on what I'm saying. So again, what most people are doing is pushing harder, bringing authoritarian in, kicking themselves in the butt, or hacking the mind. So imagine that your partner comes to you and starts telling you and pointing fingers and judging you and criticizing for something that you did wrong. How would you react? Can we agree that in most cases, if somebody comes at you, attacking you, judging you, criticizing you, in most cases, you're going to shut down? Put that in the chat, right? Shut down or not, right? You can put shut down or not shut down. How would you react when somebody comes at you, judging you, criticizing you, rejecting you, pointing fingers on something that you did wrong? In most cases, most cases out there, I know the answer, I've been studying the mind for 15 years, is that most people will get defensive or shut down. Those are the main behaviors that most people go into: shut down or fight back. But neither in shutting down or fighting back, there is a mindset for growth. In both scenarios, the mindset is not willing to learn more and to try to see what's going on and to try to grow. It goes into a stuck mindset. So listen to that again. If the mind goes into a stuck mindset when you're judged, criticized, rejected, pointing fingers, when somebody does that to you, how do you think you're going to react when you do that to yourself? Listen to that. When you have a behavior, maybe it's drinking and you're trying to get rid of it. Maybe it's smoking. Maybe it's reacting in a bad way towards somebody, towards a loved one, right? And not be able to handle it correctly, or eating healthier, starting a diet, or whatever it is, eating less sugar. If you come at yourself, if you come at you, judging, criticizing, rejecting yourself, how are you going to react? Think about that for a second. It blows my mind that nowadays, even after all the research there is out there, after all the proof that is out there of how the mind works and how people react the best, people are still teaching to kick yourself in the butt, push yourself harder, push through, all of those things. Hey, Heather, our reaction causes more conflict. Well, we shut down or do say something back. Exactly. Conflict doesn't create an open mind. it closes the mind, not for learning. So if we want to reprogram, if we want to change any type of behavior, and if we're judging, criticizing, or rejecting, unfortunately, we're doing the opposite of what we need to do. This is what we need to understand. A lot of people want to change things, but they're judging themselves for those behaviors. They're criticizing themselves for those behaviors. That's the first big mistake, because when you're judging and criticizing, you're keeping yourself stuck. So you're producing more of what you don't want. Seriously, listen to that again. You're producing more of what you don't want. So if you really want to make changes, stick around, because I'm going to keep sharing more and more towards what you need to do to really start making changes. So it's not about judging. It's not about criticizing. It's not about authoritarianism. Most coaches work using authoritarianism. Like, you need to change this. You need to stop this, right? Push stronger, push, more, whatever it is. And it's not working for most people, because authoritarian comes from ego. Ego, control. Control doesn't work well for most people, because when somebody, a loved one from the outside, is trying to control you to change something, to behave differently, most of the times you fight back. You react. You go into defensive mode. You close your mind to learning. So to be able to start making changes, you need to open up the mind to learning. So the easy question is, okay, Tommy, it makes sense what you're saying, but how do I open my mind to learning? First of all, without judgment, without criticism. This is very important. There's a method out there that I don't remember the name now, that is the Dickinson method or the Dickens method. One of those two. You can look it up on YouTube. And Tony Robbins uses this a lot, where you put yourself in front of the mirror, or even close your eyes and imagine yourself 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, doing that behavior that could be self-destructive, like eating, smoking, doing drugs, alcohol, whatever. And maybe picturing having a liver, problem, and your liver, dying on you and then affecting other systems, and then you dying. So you see yourself in such a bad position that you're supposed to change. Well, it doesn't work for most people. Again, that is authoritarianism. That is control. So the first thing is to stop doing the negative things, but without judgment. Oh, I did it again. I'm so stupid. I judge myself. No, because you're judging yourself. You're judging yourself, judging yourself. That doesn't work either. Seriously, I know it sounds crazy what I'm saying, but I know how the mind works. And I'm showing to you this. How do you react best? You react best when somebody comes to you in a loving way, in an exploration way, saying like, hey, Tommy, do you mind if we sit down and talk about, when did you start smoking? Why did you start smoking? What do you feel, right, before you start smoking, before grabbing that cigarette? How are you feeling? So suddenly, instead of feeling judged and criticized and rejected because I'm doing any type of behavior that is not appropriate, right, I start really exploring and understanding what's going on. So what really helps in the reprogramming and the healing is self-love. It's unconditional love. Exactly, Heather. The mind has no time. So you can picture different things, and for the mind, right? And I've seen this many times. Imagine that when I was a kid, I was beaten up many times, and I work with people like this. So when somebody starts feeling negative emotions, right, they go maybe smoke, they maybe go drink to try to numb the pain that they're going through because of something that happened in the past. It could be something going on today. Yes, don't get me wrong, but most of the times that's attached with past memories, and the mind, the right lobe, doesn't realize time. So for the right lobe, A lot of our past memories are happening now. So imagine that you were beaten up, you were rejected, you were abused mentally, physically, emotionally, or even sexually. For the mind, that could be happening even today. So when you go to regular therapy and you just talk about it, you might feel a little bit better maybe because you talked about it, but it doesn't fix anything, because there's something deeper that you need to do to be able to really start healing and reprogramming the mind. Okay, so the first thing you need is to start opening to love, unconditional love. So it's loving and accepting that maybe you are drinking, loving and accepting that you might be smoking, right? There's a reason behind it. So instead of why the smoking, one of my mentors teaches all the time, instead of why am I smoking, is how am I feeling? Instead of seeing that as something bad, understanding that that is the solution to a deeper problem. What a lot of people are doing are judging themselves for what they're doing. So it's time to stop doing that and really start tapping into, why am I doing this? What is the benefit? You might say, but Tommy, somebody is drugging themselves, somebody that might be killing. What is the benefit? Yes, there is always a benefit. I'm not saying it's okay what they're doing, but at least I'm saying that I understand that there is a bigger pain behind that they're numbing through the behavior that they're manifesting. That it could be drugs, it could be anything, even killing people. I'm pretty sure that Putin is killing people because deep down there is something that he needs to cover up with getting rid of the enemy. Seriously, it could be a way of getting rid of the enemy, quote unquote, inside of his head, right? But the truth is, he's projecting that on the outside and getting rid of the enemy on the outside to stop, numb some type of pain on the inside. I'm not saying it's okay, don't get me wrong, but at least I understand it. So from there, when we look at that behavior in a more compassionate way, we open the door to be able to start learning and changing, but changing by dissolving. Dissolving. What does that mean? When we're able to understand what's going on, what is the benefit of the behavior? Imagine that I'm smoking because I'm feeling anxiety. Anxiety, why? Could be fear. Fear of what? Being rejected. I'm being rejected by my wife. Maybe she's going to walk away, so I'm smoking. So it's again, fear of rejection. Okay, how am I rejecting myself? And how was I rejected as a kid? Because remember, the mind has no time. So I could be reliving moments from my childhood where I was rejected. So instead of judging myself for smoking because I don't know another way how to deal with my emotions, I need to start loving and accepting that part of me that is using that behavior. This is what I start calling falling in love with yourself, unconditional love. We need to start experiencing unconditional love to bring reprogramming and healing faster and easier. I'm not saying it's easy. Listen to the difference there. I'm not saying fast and easy. I'm saying faster and easier. Because tapping into the pain is difficult. For a lot of people, they have found ways to move away from the pain, but it doesn't go away. It keeps coming back over and over again. It's like having back pain and having a pill to stop the pain, but not actually understanding why. Maybe I need to reinforce my abs to make my core stronger so I don't put so much weight onto my back. Maybe I'm having some mind things that are putting stress in my back, and that's causing the pain. So by taking a pill, I'm not actually dealing with what's going on. I'm just covering the surface level problem. So with this work, the idea is to go deeper into the mind through unconditional love, to be able to understand what's going on and be able to start reprogramming and healing our limiting negative and false beliefs that are getting in the way. It could be our professional life, or our personal life, our relationships, our friendships, our partners, our kids. In any area that we might be struggling, is how to start handling that in a different way through unconditional love. Because listen to that again, when somebody comes in a loving way to tell you something, right, to explore with you why you're doing this or that, you're going to be most of the times more open to exploring, more open to learning when it comes from love. When it comes from judgment, when it comes from criticism, when it comes from rejections, the chances of you being open to explore, to learn, to grow, to change are going to reduce exponentially, seriously. And think how you react when people treat you in that way to you. When people treat you in a not very loving way, how do you tend to react? Type it in the chat. When somebody judges you, criticizes you, rejects you, comes to you pointing fingers, how do you tend to react? Openly, or you tend to become defensive, you tend to shut down? Put it in the chat, please. I know the answer for most people. Yes, normally we tend to shut down or become defensive. That doesn't open the mind, it closes it down. So if you really want to start being able to reprogram, heal, it's through love, unconditional love. So if you're interested in working more on this and experiencing unconditional love, having a glimpse of it, start tapping into it in the next 30 days. If you want to start being able to make changes, identify the different limiting, negative, and false beliefs, the mental blocks that you might have, and start experimenting some unconditional love. I'm launching something amazing that could start helping you in the next 30 days or less. So if you're interested in starting making changes, in experiencing unconditional love, to start making changes, reach out, type here in the chat if you want, #love, and I'll send you more information on how to start experiencing unconditional love and change in the next 30 days or less. Okay, so thank you, Alexia. Thank you, Heather, for being here. If you're interested, just reach out, type #love in the chat, in the comments, right? Send me a private message if you want to, and we'll get back to you. If you found this valuable, if you found this that helps you understand a bit more about the mind, share it with others, comment, engage, so more people get to see it. Follow us for more insight and tools to start being able to make deep changes within us, to heal and reprogram, to change behaviors that we are not being able to make changes. So thank you very much. I hope you have a great week. Take care. Sending you lots of love, and talk to you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye.